is going on with this thing? My apologies if there's a little bit of a weird jump on my feed right now, but I'm just trying to deal with my hardware here is where I'm at. Yeah, guys, so I'm downtown Kenosha. As you know, I'm here in Kenosha, and taking a look at some of the things that are still the remnants of what's going on here, that, I mean, lingering notions of what happened over a year ago. Is so there's some of the signs that we saw and some windows that are still unrepaired. But I'm gonna wait till we get comments in here actually before we start making too much motion. It's cold. It's very cold. There we go. Okay, here we go. We're in here. So, share the stream out, y'all. I appreciate it. Just want to show you guys kind of where I'm at. Like I said, you can still see some of the damage and destruction here, like windows that are still broken from last year. And I mean, I'm talking, it's sad to see that it's still, in such a sad state. But I know a lot of people were nervous to even rebuild. They were nervous to put in the effort because if it were to happen again, they'd be out that money again to have to repair all the damage. So take a look at some of the signage we got here. What's up, everybody that's tuning in? Appreciate you all joining me. Remember this store? I can't remember exactly what kind of store this was, but it was interesting. This Gold Standard Social Club right here, this tattoo shop survived, no damage, and some of these other stores here weren't so lucky. But yeah, like I said, it is cold, y'all. So we're in, you guys know where I'm at. We're gonna take a walk around. I know folks are at the courthouse, gathering down there. I kind of wanted to take another route for a few. Just because, we'll have plenty of time to be around crowds. But I know there's other folks down there. I believe Corey's down there and Drew and some other cats. So if you want to see what's happening down there, feel free. But I can say right now, like, the big difference right now from what you saw last year was there's not a lot of boards up here. There's still some that remain from last year, but there's not a bunch of new boards up, and that's a big deal. Because I think it's maybe an indicator of where the people are right now, like how they feel about where things are going to go, the direction they feel that things are going to take, and that they may not need it. I would hope that they don't feel they need it anymore, you know what I mean? 'Cause like I said, I feel like people here have acknowledged that, it's not going to happen again. So, we're going to head this direction and take a look. I'm going to walk you guys around town a little bit tonight and probably meet up with some other streamers and other guys that were out here doing the independent journalism. And James, yeah, come on through. Anybody that wants to come through, meet up with me while I'm out here walking around. I'd love to have some company, someone to chit chat with. If you're local here, definitely talk about what's going on. Bundle up, it's chilly. It's definitely chilly. So I'm gonna flip it around and show you guys what I'm looking at right now. So this is the Herzing University right over here. And then if you look right over here, pause it for a second, I got a phone call that came through. So this is the church. Bradford Unitarian, where that fire was pushing up against. The fire department came through and did a phenomenal job of getting here when need be. Trying to see if I can lighten this picture up a little bit here for me. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see it better on your end. Yeah, we're gonna walk over here. But this tree, you guys remember these trees right here? I don't know if you can see it because it's pretty dark out, but flames are all the way up in the trees there. And this is the backside of the church. And I'm gonna show you guys again what that was. So this is the backside of the Bradford Unitarian Church where that fire was, right here with all of these cars. So this is the car source lot all through here. So this is, man, that's crazy. I need to meet up with Drew, man. He's down here somewhere. We'll catch up. There's the rain barrel. If you guys remember that, the infamous rain barrel. That's where a lot of things went down. But like I said, this is the car source right here. Oh my God, it's cold out here, you guys. Whew. Gotta love that Midwest weather. Good old Kenosha. Yikes. So these are some of the things that are wild to me. If you look on the ground over here, maybe you can't see, there's still glass. I mean, you'll see those sparkles on the ground. That's all still remnants of glass windows where cars were burnt out. There's still chunks of car, that this lot, if you remember, this entire lot was destroyed. Everything in this lot. And that became the subject of controversy as far as witness testimonies. You see like the melted asphalt here. The witness testimony of the car lot owners, car source owners. So it's too bad it came to that, but it did. If you remember, right over here is where the first couple cars started up. And then this is that placement of that sign. Remember, if it said BLM on it. And this is the Bradford Unitarian Church sign for the church over here. And the lot went up. If you remember, we're standing right across the street over here when it went up, and the first car is where this minivan is right here. We're saying if that car doesn't get put out, I mean, the rest of them are going to go up quick, and sure enough, they did. What's wild is, you guys look, sorry about that. The signage right here. This is the melted sign from this sign up here, which is crazy that it's still having issues with my camera here. I apologize. We'll figure it out. But if you look, I guess, like, this is where all the remnants of that first car fire were. There's still broken glass from those windows, which it amazes me that it's still present. But you can see it all the way up, the block here, like all through here. There's all the burnt remains of the cars. And we're gonna push up that way here in a minute. Wonder whose drone it is. Dude, you see it hovering right there? This one right there. Let's probably get some killer footage. Oh, it's landing. I gotta go see who's flying this bad boy. Sorry, let me open it up to chat questions here. Oh, it's your drone. Okay.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just tripped out. I was like, I keep hearing a hum. And I was like, it's droning it up. Probably getting some decent footage.
Yeah. It looks kind of cool right now. So.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Who you guys here with?
This guy.
Yeah. I'm doing a documentary about the Rittenhouse trial.
Okay. Cool. What's up, man? My name's CJ.
JT.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah. We're out here just doing a walkthrough of where it was. We were out here. I was out here when it happened. Like, a bunch of us were. We filmed a lot of it. So it's wild. Have you been here many times before? Or?
I've been in town for like 3 weeks now.
Okay. How's the documentary coming together?
It's going great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you talk to Kriston? Is he meeting with you? Kriston Harris from the Rundown Live. I know he's doing something with the documentary tomorrow.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
see.
us.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Well, right on, man. That's fantastic.
I'll see you around.
For real. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm waiting for Brandon, who should be here any minute. Yeah. I don't know if my stream's like, yeah, you guys, I'm, you know. Hey, good looking out, y'all. Appreciate it. Whoever had that Make Auschwitz tag, we can go ahead and boot them for our mods. We don't need any nonsense. So I don't think there's anything actually happening at the courthouse right now, but there's well, you guys will get a walkthrough with me. But holy shard, it's cold out here. What's wild is the first time I saw Gage after the right over here, actually on this side of where these people are, after the shooting. And he was all casted up. It was a trip because I had a chance to talk to him for a minute, and like while we were there talking, like he moved his fingers, and I was just blown away, man. Because last time I saw him, like they were saying, they kept saying the phrase, his arm blown off, arm blown off. And in all fairness, like his arm was, I thought was going to come off. I didn't know if there was any way that it was going to stay on. So it's wild that he saved it. Like you said, it missed every major nerve cluster apparently, and they were able to do a couple surgeries and save his arm. So that was a blessing, and he lived, you know, which as we've been talking about through this case, 2 other people didn't. So, but this is the main drag, You guys, where are you guys all at right now? You guys getting snow? Because it feels like it should snow here. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's cold enough that I feel like it should snow. I'm not really looking to get caught up in a crowd. I'm just going to walk through right now because, you know, yeah, it's 10 million. 10 mil. What up, dude?
How's it going?
Good, man. Good. How are you? Doing okay? Yeah, man. Good.
Good to see you again.
See you too. I'll say hi to everybody. Tell them who you are.
Brendan Goonschwager, BG on the scene.
So you guys remember BG on the scene here had that. Let's take a walk up here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a walk up
this
here.
is, I mean, we're right here. This is it.
How does it feel being back, man?
It is such a, like, I just don't even know how to describe it. The whole last 2 weeks I've been trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it's all been just revisited in such detail.
Sure.
And,
I'm just gonna flip this around so I can see.
Yeah, show where we're at.
Yeah. So walk us through. I mean, people will get mine, but tell me about your experience as we're walking through here. Like, what were you seeing? What were you experiencing? And you guys, BG on the scene footage was used in great detail during the case here, and I'm sure we'll cut clip to that later. But walk us through it.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously this is Sheridan Road. You can see right here while we're walking past it, the remnants of like this burned out lot are still clearly visible on the sidewalk. This was where a lot of the most tense activity and just like the most volatile, I would say, here and in Uptown.
Uptown, yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, like Sheridan Road was the spot where they were pushing back and forth with police, and like Bearcats were driving up and down here.
Yeah.
And I mean, right across the street there is Car Doctor.
Do you remember the people on the roof over here?
Yeah.
And it was interesting how that worked out. That's where I started seeing people come from the alley back here, and they were like throwing stuff at people on the roof over here.
I never even saw that.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that I've also realized in seeing it sort of reanalyzed in the last couple of weeks, is that like it was hard for any one person to really see everything. Right. So like you end up learning new things.
Sure.
And kind of like, oh wow, like while this was going on here, this was going on here.
Yeah.
And it's all the same night simultaneous. Like
right.
Only a couple blocks from each other.
And then sourcing it from all these different places has been paramount for this case, man. Have you been back here since?
Yeah, I've been back here a few times.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I came I came like 1 year after the riots just to kind of see like what did things look like.
Sure.
Uptown in particular, like looked very similar to how it did even just like a month after the riots, which was just everything boarded up.
I hear it's still pretty bad. Like it still it hasn't been put back together quite yet.
Uptown Pantry, which had boarded up pretty solidly then, is fine now, it looks like. I mean, they're operating and whatnot, but a lot of those buildings on the other side of the street, it's just like boarded up. Although I noticed a new one though at the end. So like, something's been rebuilt.
There's some rebuild.
Yeah, there's definitely been some rebuild. Sheridan Road, it was more like the cars themselves. Well, I guess like that building I think was also damaged. I don't know if it was like burned down or whatnot.
The flames got right up to it, so all of that roof structure on the car source was all pretty melted and ripped apart. And all the windows were smashed out, and like the inside was gutted, but yeah, so the building itself was pretty destroyed. Yeah. And it's BG, guys. BG on the scene is where you can find my man here.
And then, people were going up and down here, Sheridan Road, for, I don't know, like how many nights you were there. Weren't you there like the first night?
Yeah.
You were there like right when it was happening.
Just a couple hours after Jacob Blake got shot, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that because like everybody was going towards DC and you were like already in the area? Okay.
Yes.
That was so crazy because I remember hearing about that because I was over in Portland. So it was much more of a distance, but then to see that. But anyway, just to center back in Kenosha, that was just an interesting anecdote. Car doctor there, it was crazy because like when we walked past it, nobody would have like been able to foresee, at least not from like reporters' perspective, like what was going to happen, how it was going to unfold that night. So you just kind of like, it's like, all right, like I guess this is what's going on here. Like, there were too many things to react to. That there was no way to like.
We'll actually bop over there real quick. We can.
I was
gonna say, because as we're talking about it, guys, this is the car doctor. So there's the car source locations and the car doctor as well. That's part of the affiliation. And if you guys look, it's crazy because all of these things that we saw in this case, this like iconic case, as we're talking right here, are move that chat. So there's that dumpster that was that fuck around find out dumpster.
Was it that specific dumpster?
Pretty positive it was that dumpster.
Oh my god.
And if not, one that looks a lot like it.
Yeah.
And if you guys remember, this is that first place where I think they did the interview with Kyle Rittenhouse when he kind of explained what his med kit was all about and what his gun was for and what he was doing here.
Yep, Kyle was standing right over here next to a burned out some kind of vehicle. I couldn't even tell what it was. And then there were just people on the roof there, people down on the ground here, and then like the crowd would just come right through on the street here, and you could see that in the videos, like all that's been revisited now, and the streams from that brought up.
And then we moved this way as we kept going. They had I remember at one point I got stuck on this corner right here.
Really?
The Bearcats came through and they were like, it was tear gas and everything, and I couldn't get away from it. I was stuck, and I was like, oh my god, all I could do was just shut my eyes and like cover my face. I'm like, oh my god, this sucks so bad.
Jeez.
It sucks. What do you hate? What do you like least, tear gas or pepper spray?
Like the least?
Yeah.
Pepper spray for sure.
There you go.
For sure.
See, I told you guys.
Oh yeah.
These tear gas, you just wait for the cloud to pass. But that pepper spray gets into your tear ducts. It like, God, it's so bad, man.
Tear gas, you can't really. Pepper spray, you can't really escape. Like once it's already hit, once it's that close, like you're kind of screwed more or less until you kind of like power through it.
Right.
Tear gas, at least, you can kind of be strategic about. Like you can run right into it, and
you
can definitely have a long exposure, or you can have like a couple second exposure and like pop right out.
Yeah, you can dodge clouds. You can dodge clouds.
So it's a little bit different. Well, actually, a lot of it different, I would say. Both cause discomfort.
Sure.
So wait, did you get pepper sprayed back in Kenosha, like back those days? Or was it just tear gas?
No, mostly it was just tear gas.
That's what I thought.
I didn't have any pepper spray at that point, but plenty of it up to that point. Coming out of Portland and Seattle. Woo! What up, player?
Where you headed?
It's just walking around, man. Just seeing the sights. How you doing? What's that?
Welcome back.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Good to
Thanks
see you.
for covering it, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Some of the guys that try to cover it they go out of control.
I feel it. Yeah, we're trying to give everyone a proper representation of what happened when it happened. This is Brandon. He actually BG on the scene. He was a lot of the footage you saw.
My daughter was inside the gas station when JoJo got hit.
Oh, really?
She watched it all. They let him hide in there. So,
Really?
Not her, my other daughter.
Yeah. What's it like? Let me ask you. Do you mind being on camera? Sorry. So walk me through it. What's up? Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Sierra.
Sierra, CJ, Brandon.
Hello.
I'm saying that right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about that experience. You were out.
I wasn't here. I was in Michigan just watching the lives, and I mean, people were just saying all crazy stuff. Like I heard that they stole the helicopter and they landed on the train tracks, and that police cars were being stolen. And I wasn't here for it.
I heard I was down by the Wendy's, right, where the police car got stolen.
Yeah, I heard about that, and then, like I said, they said people stole the helicopter. I don't even know where the hell from.
I don't know if a helicopter guy. That seems like I might have been stretching a bit.
Yeah, I think it was a Photoshop. I don't know.
Right.
It was wild. I mean, I was born and raised here, and just seeing that with not even being here, like I feel bad that I don't understand why they think violence is the answer.
Right.
You know,
right.
why destroy people's homes, businesses, put children and other people and adults in danger?
Absolutely.
You know, one thing to protest, and have justice is one thing, but it doesn't mean to tear down our town.
Absolutely. Here in Kenosha, now I know this is something that you hadn't seen here before, and I know. What would you say as a community has changed since? Do you feel you guys have grown collectively together more, or has it caused more divide?
They're trying to divide it more.
Really?
But
I don't see it as anyone coming together. I wish they would come together and just be more peaceful about it instead of rioting and just acting out of character.
Right.
I would rather see them voice their words than with violence.
Absolutely.
I think our words are going to speak louder to whoever, law enforcement, whatever, than us destroying our town.
Completely agree. Because we saw what that got, right? Jacob Blake got shot, violence came out, more people got shot.
Yeah.
And if we let that happen again,
Exactly.
we have to imagine that more people are going to get hurt.
it's going to be a lot worse, though.
Right.
If the National Guard's here, they ain't going to take it.
Right. And it's good to see they're not in town right now, that they're de-escalating, I think. They're kind of keeping things, and I'm sure for the jury and whatnot, but probably doing their best to try to make sure that things
I don't want to sound like I'm starting trouble on your news feed with them.
No, you're good.
Kenosha cops are trigger happy.
I've seen billboards out here where they've
real.
had issues with police
You
involved
saw the
shootings.
Michael Bell down here.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
I knew his sister,
Okay.
and it was fucked up because he had a sandwich in his hand,
Okay.
and they shot him.
That's like with a lot of
What's going on
cop-related murders. And
right. And has a long history here?
Bag of Skittles in his hand.
This good old boy.
You know?
Okay.
You'll find him anywhere.
Right.
I don't think Kyle, I don't think he's racist.
Right.
I think he was just
I think he came to a
misinformed.
city he didn't belong to be in. I don't think he should have came here.
Right.
He, saying he came here to protect businesses, and then those business people saying that they don't even know who the hell he is.
Sure. Yeah.
What were you doing here?
Right.
You're not from here. Why'd you come here? You came here to do what everyone else was doing.
Where's Kyle's dad?
I haven't seen him at all.
I haven't seen Kyle. I haven't even heard his name.
Good point.
His
All I've seen
mom's
is his mom.
right there. Where's his dad?
Mom and his sister. I don't know.
He's probably embarrassed.
Could be.
But he lived with his dad. That's why this is his
That's
community.
right. His dad's Kenosha. His mom's Racine.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's freaking crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that, the thought going the right way. Like, everyone's thinking, like, hey, man, got to do better, right? Like, can't let it happen again because look where it got it.
Violence isn't going to fix anything. It's just going to cause more trouble for everyone.
Right. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys
we're
taking
gonna
the
get
time.
out of here, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care of yourself. Thanks for talking.
Nice
All right, y'all.
to
Be
meet you,
good.
brother.
Take care.
All right, you guys be nice.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I will. We will. So yeah, this is wild. There's a lot of police out right now.
Tonight, driving around.
Yeah. Have you seen what's the general element or vibe you feel right now when you get around here? Do you feel like it's? I mean, what do you feel like the temperature in the air is, other than the fact that it's freezing ass cold?
Freezing cold.
Freezing ass cold.
It's in a way it doesn't really feel that. Well, it's okay. Everywhere other than just around the courthouse almost feels like business as usual, sort of.
Sure.
Like things are still going along in
Right.
that sense. But around the courthouse is weird because it's just like all these news vans parked everywhere, and it's just like this like huge scrutiny. So the vibe's a little bit different there, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, kind of just more like, oh, everybody like really like wanting to see what's gonna happen. Everybody kind of like just anticipating what is gonna happen here, and it seems like a lot for a town like this to and you know to have that kind of level of scrutiny under. It just seems, you know, because like there's some towns that you hear about constantly, but for this I feel like it's like, well, we don't hear about Kenosha constantly. We're just like, but now this is like a huge thing that,
and we've seen each other in big cities though, like big cities around the nation. We've run into each other, and so to be clear, like I mean, for Kenosha here, and I know a lot of people don't know, like we joked about it, and people joked about it being Kenowhere, like a town of 100,000 people, but now the entire world is watching right now. Like tomorrow, the anticipation for tomorrow is massive, like worldwide. Everyone's watching, like, what's it going to be like in America? And then people in America are like, what's this going to do to us? You know, and it's odd how it's become this, sad that it's become this huge, like, political football. Like, who is Kyle Rittenhouse? Who is he to you? And I'm like, he's just Kyle Rittenhouse. He's just a kid that had a gun, you know? This is the gas station over here.
Ultimate gas station has been brought up, what, like 200 times?
Yeah,
trial? No.
Why do they spend so much time on this gas station?
I know. I was like, this gas station.
It's like the most benign of situations was this gas station, but this is where the first exchange, like they kept showing up, where Rosenbaum was having words with the militia folk. Speaking of militia, what's your take on the militia guys? Like, did you get a chance to talk to many of them?
Not in depth.
Okay.
So like it was hard to even know the details of like, was this a bunch of individuals, was it militias, so like that it's one of those topics again where like not everybody could have seen like every detail of it, to where like I can't necessarily speak to that part of it, only because I really didn't have extended enough interactions.
That's good though,
to get into that level of detail.
That's good that you're in that place though, because I know a lot of people are talking to what they would assume and speculation of it all when we, like you were here, and what you saw is what you saw, and I've been saying that on my feed, like your experience here is very personal to you and how you experienced it and what you saw, and through the lens of your camera, a lot of people saw the same thing. But even for them, it's their personal experience of what they saw through your lens. It's going to be personal to everybody, but when people are talking to things that they don't have a full grasp on, that's when we have all these weird shadowy moments in this case of speculation, which is sad because it's not giving a full, representation of the facts at hand. It's wild as this is right where when I first heard the first shots, I was standing over here with Lakota in this park. We were walking through here. Where were you at?
Over here.
You were right over here with us? Okay.
It would have been pretty close.
Yeah. And if you guys go up this direction right here, that's where the furniture store is that burned down, the DOC building's up there, that other car lot that was on fire across the street. And then I believe Uptown is that direction. It goes up that way. So you can kind of like dogleg it up to Uptown. But
yeah. Well, and this is actually that night. This was the road that they had taken.
Right.
They had gone up or going down here a few blocks, and then.
Did you see people like starting fires on buildings? Did you catch any of that?
Over in this area, actually, right along. I'm about to say the wrong one. 60th Street.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that was when it was going on over there by the furniture store.
Right.
And all that.
That was insane. I had never seen a structure fire like that before. And then DOC building like pops up, and then you had both of these buildings burning. I mean, we had the car lot down here that was ablaze, but watching a building get consumed in fire was a different experience. This was terrible. I mean, you had cars exploding, so it was very.
Well, the mattress store was, I think, the one that I saw
up in Uptown?
the deepest flames of, because it just like went on for so long before any response was made to put out the flames.
Right.
So that fire just got so huge. I mean, it engulfed the entire like second floor of this building.
Right.
And you actually saw like these. I don't know if the bricks collapsed and were like collapsed inward or what. But
I believe it was a propane tank or something that exploded, and then all the bricks blew out into the street.
I didn't even see. That's another detail where I didn't even know. I just, by the time I came up to it, I just saw there was bricks all over the place.
Same.
Structures damaged. The whole thing's on fire.
Yeah.
And then there was a whole block of buildings on fire.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and that was like the densest level of that kind of riot from 2020.
Sure.
I would say. I mean, you saw a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
Would you say that there was ever a time where there was like a whole block? Well,
No.
okay, Minneapolis.
I wasn't in Minneapolis, but I know that what I had seen was very different. It was more people on people. You know, it was like a clash of like protest and police, right? Where with a lot of the structure fires you saw, our smaller fires were like little fires. It was never like an entire block of a building, you know, and that's what these are. If you guys, and we'll show you what they are down here. Like that DOC building is, I mean, it's like half of a city block. It's a big building. And then you have the furniture store across the street is another like, you know, quarter of a city block probably. You guys are doing it. But this is, what's wild is we're creeping up on right now. This is, what's interesting, dude, is like the dumpsters over here that were being pushed around are still like, they're like right on the side of the building over there, which was wild. Like some of those things that were just so like these pivotal moments, you know what I mean? In this film that we're watching of this court case, and then you're seeing that like it's all still here, you know?
Yeah, dumpster, the board on that building over there.
Yeah.
Now, okay, where were you when this was going down? Because I know where I was at.
Yeah.
And well, I suppose we're not quite there yet, so I'll wait till we're over there.
Yeah, no, so I'm with you.
But just to finish out that last thought, yeah, it's like these objects could have been so benign. Like,
Sure.
You know, it could have just been any trash can, any dumpster, but then all of a sudden it's this dumpster that effectively is being viewed by millions of people, all scrutinized and like, oh, this dumpster was being pushed, this dumpster was on fire.
It was like a battering ram being ran through the police, or was it being run into the gas station to blow up the gas station? There was all these wild, yeah. I was like, well, it's just a garbage can that got lit on fire, you know, and people were shoving it around, you know, like, and I've seen that everywhere. I mean, Portland and Seattle, those are like, those are automatic. The first things to get lit on fire are garbage cans. Immediately, like, that's going up. So the dumpster fire analogy really does fly, you know. But I was right back, actually, I said I was in this corner over here when I heard the first gunshots. And then I ran this way, and as I ran up the road this direction, we made it just past this intersection up here, which is where, right here is where it went down, actually.
Here, I vividly remember coming down the street here. This is the block up between 60th and 61st. And then it's all happening there a couple blocks away while I'm running down here.
Yeah.
Like that, you can hear that there's commotion going on in the distance.
Right. Because you looped, so this is, and we're gonna have to talk a little loud.
Busy traffic.
Yeah, go ahead and you guys can go ahead and ban Rob Thomas too. A garbage bag of a human being, apparently. But like right here is where it went down, right? Like I would say, it felt like it was right underneath the street lamp, wasn't it?
It was, right here.
Basically right there, yeah. And your film, when you were shooting, you came like, you looped around this way and came like, you were right here basically, weren't you?
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
It was so like chaotic and unpredictable that there wasn't really any time to process anything.
Yeah.
All you knew is that you had just heard gunshots go off. Everybody's running, but in a few different directions. A huge chunk from this way is going this way, but then there's people over there that are starting to come this way. And so nobody from this side, like, really knows the details of that. All they know is what you encounter them when you start, when you come up and you see it. Yeah. And then people are yelling, and then...
How many gunshots did you hear down here?
Over here?
Yeah, like
all told?
Yeah.
It was like at least 8, I want to say. There might have been more. Because there were the 4 that were fired here, and then there were more that were fired off.
Right.
Somewhere in the distance.
Okay, and that's the thing that I'm interested in too, is that no one ever talks about that. No one ever mentions these like we counted, I think it was like 15 to 18 shots from right here. Like when these shots are being fired, there was Rittenhouse's gun, and then afterwards you hear multiple other gunshots going off.
Oh yeah. And that created such a dark atmosphere overall.
Yeah.
Like, there's really just no other way to describe that. Like,
right.
you just watch gunshots over here. You hear gunshots going off around you. Like, does that sound like a calming place to be?
No.
Absolutely not.
It was terrifying.
Like, that was so your heart's just pounding. You don't even know what to process because it's like, do you pay attention? What direction do you even go in a way?
Yeah.
It's like, you just saw this here. You're hearing that out in the distance.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's like there's not even the proper words to describe it.
Right.
It's really, really hard to put into a description.
Yeah.
How it felt.
Right. It's wild. Let's keep heading this way. So this is, like I said, all this film we've been seeing. This is the backdrop to what we've been watching for the last couple weeks. So, Dara, you're on Facebook. Go ahead and start getting stringent on modding. Go ahead and people are gonna talking out their ass. You can go ahead and give them the boot. I'm okay with it. It's amazing, even in the chat, how much it's like polarized people. Like,
really?
There's so many people that are just like passionately for Kyle Rittenhouse or like animately like against him as this antichrist, and it's wild because a lot of them for us, we were here, we watched it happen, and I don't think, do you feel like you have a personal connection to Kyle Rittenhouse in any way?
Personal, no, not you just witness something.
Right.
It happens to be a high-profile story in this case, but you and I both know we've witnessed a lot.
Absolutely.
We've witnessed a lot of things. So,
absolutely.
Now with Kenosha, that's a little bit of a different story because that was something across multiple days and also kind of revisiting. So, on a personal level to people that were involved that night, no.
Yeah.
It would say that it definitely extends more out to the city, if anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I've been saying the same thing, like, as we walk here. Like, I have no skin in the game, man. Like, I don't know Kyle Rittenhouse personally. I don't know, what happens to him is between the jurors now. They have to make that, they have to figure that out. And I've chosen not to allow it to be something very personal to me because I'm having to deal with my own issues from what I experienced here, as I'm sure you did, and have been, as so many people have. And if I made myself connected to him, then that's just one level deeper that I'd have to go in dealing with whatever fallout will come from this case. And what happened there was terrible. It was tragic no matter what. People died, right? And that's terrible. Seeing someone's life being taken from them is terrible. But Kyle Rittenhouse to me, he's not a hero to me. I don't think he's the Antichrist. I don't think he's, a vigilante. I don't think he's anything more than just like I've said many times, little kid with a big gun, and was in a terrible situation. Should he have been here? Shouldn't he have been here? I mean, all of that, again, it's up to the jury now, and they have the real hard work. Man, can you imagine being on this jury right now? God, dude. Especially having to sit through this court case for the last 2 weeks. Just
long.
Oh my God. Bro.
What? It's so detailed.
So detailed. The prosecution's done a phenomenal job of making sure that there's a lot of details involved. How do you feel the prosecution's done in this case?
Well, I don't necessarily want to even comment on who's done this or who's done that with it.
Sure.
All I can say is that both sides have really gone into a lot of detail.
Sure.
And photographs, stuff I've never seen before.
Well, did you know there was that drone out here that night?
No. Well, I knew that there
were
drones.
drones, but did you know there was that drone and I'll show you guys.
No.
So this is the car source right here in front of us, guys, and that drone footage was taken from right up the street here. We'll walk up here and show you guys. So
which seeing how low the angle was on that drone video, I'm like,
and then
well, of course, but we wouldn't have known because we were further up when it was recording.
It's just odd that it took off right then. It leveled up, caught the footage, and that was it.
And then it turns a little bit.
Yeah, but it's perfectly on this intersection up here. from just on the other side of the intersection up there.
It is interesting the way that the footage does make it kind of look like it like took off. Like the drone had just recently, either that or just increased elevation.
Sure. But like we just saw with these other people flying their drone, they do fly them pretty low. So, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
So, you guys, this is the parking lot where the first shots were fired. So, like I said, this is the car source. You had, you know, Richie McGinnis was running through here along with Kyle Rittenhouse, who ran up through here. You had Rosenbaum coming through here as well, and everyone came up from back here.
Drew Hernandez was probably, just from his videos,
sure,
I would think was around here somewhere.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And made his way. Everyone made their way up through here. And this was, like I said, the parking lot in question. And we'll walk right over here, actually. And they had the thing with the fire extinguisher with all the pixelations or the pickolations. That was a drag out. I was like, all right, but then it came down to right over here, you guys, and none of these cars were here. All of these were gone. Yeah, the only ones that were over here were up in this corner over here. So, yeah, it was right here, wasn't it? Like it was just right in this area right here. Is where, it's where Rosenbaum was shot. Did you see what was going on back over here afterwards in this building?
No, I really did not.
When they drove through that fence right there?
No.
And they had the Bearcat over there. They had looked like a SWAT team. I think they were looking for another shooter, but they had circled in on that building back there.
Did not know that, no.
Yeah, it was wild. And then, we'll keep walking through.
Is that where you went after?
I
continue towards here, or did you stick around the site of the second set of shooting?
So I was down there because I had with Gage when he got shot, I had the tourniquet. I was involved putting that tourniquet on. Okay. And then when I had heard that someone was saying on the feed that Andrew was hurt, and or that he was, there's something going on with Andrew, and all I heard was hospital. So I came up this direction afterwards, and we're going to be in all these people's shots.
How low is it?
I don't know. This drone's super low though. Like this is what it was like. There's that drone right there. There's basically
did not notice.
Bro, that's almost clutch. There's this drone here, which would have been the drone that you've seen in court would have been right over here, taking angles from up right around here, shooting this direction. Yeah. And where are we at over here? Let's get out of their way. I just realized we're in all of your shots right now, and it's not what we're trying to do.
Are you guys live streaming?
Yeah.
Are you guys from Kenosha?
No, we both have shows that we do, live stream shows. We were here filming everything when it happened.
Yeah. You were here at the night of the riots?
Yeah.
Would
So
I be able to talk to you guys for my documentary?
absolutely, yeah. Here, let me give you. Sorry. Let me give you one of my cards here as well. So this is BG on the scene. I don't know if you, and I'm CJ from CJ TV. Well, it's interesting. You're flying the drone, right here, right? And then all that footage that came into court that all of us that were here hadn't seen was the drone footage from right here, which was all new to us. And then of course you had that FBI angle from 9,000 feet up from right here, right above this, which was a trip too. How you doing with it? You flying all right?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good.
She's an ace.
Killing it.
Thank you.
Where is it? Oh, I thought you just landed it on top of that street post right there. I was like, that is amazing. That is some marksman style drone flying. But you guys, it's interesting because that's about as high. What would you say the angle on that drone footage is right now? How wide of an angle can you get?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh, you can see?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Let me take a look at this real fast. Let me zoom down here.
Sorry.
Ooh, you better change your battery. That thing's going to fall into a... Okay, so the drone, as you guys can see, is about 12 feet off the ground, you'd say?
It is 9.8 feet off the ground.
That's only 9.8?
Yep.
Man,
That's about right, yeah.
I'm shorter than I think.
That's okay.
And at 9.8 feet, you've got... That's a pretty straight shot.
Oh yeah, very limited footage. The millimeter lens on here would be equivalent to a 24 millimeter.
24 millimeter, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, there we go.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. And now, what kind of? Now, most of these fly with like a 4K or.
Yeah,
2K?
4K.
Okay.
For this one, I have. That's what the documentary is being filmed in, so that's what I'm going along with. So most people don't have 4K TVs at home still, so.
I think people don't get that. They're like, no, I filmed it in such high def. I'm like, well, someone's watching it on their phone,
yeah,
so.
everyone's watching it on their
the
phone.
best you're gonna get is what they have to watch it on.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully people watch it.
Yeah.
Right here? Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks for talking.
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. Look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Absolutely. So yeah, then after the shooting, I made my way up here, and this is where like the militia, it was Belch, and Lukowski. They were hanging out right here talking, and Lakota and myself, and everyone kind of made their way up here. Then I met up with Andrew over here across the street, and that's when they were like ushering the vehicles in. They rushed in there. If you remember that, down to the hospital. And then it was just kind of a holy shit moment, you know, where it was that one just kind of figure out what to do next. You know? I was trying to figure out what to do with my equipment because I just had blood in all of my everything, all of my phone and all over me, and it was just one of those like, I really didn't, honestly, man, I was having a little bit of a breakdown when that happened. I didn't know what to do with myself. It's one of those things you don't ever expect to see, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like I've had to do CPR on someone at the ocean, right? I was in Hawaii at one point, and there was a woman who, anyway, long story short, was drowned, and I was trying to do CPR. I was doing CPR on her in Hawaii, in the North Shore. But you expect to see that. I mean, not expect to see it, but it's not as shocking to see someone drowning in water. You know what I mean? When you're out in a street here, you don't expect to see someone get shot. That is shocking. Like that's like that, you know, the abrupt stop to a very fast trip that you don't really ever prepare yourself for. I mean, I wasn't prepared.
You described it perfectly, dude. Like, it was this sudden, abrupt, like, because things have been going on for hours then.
Yeah.
It was a long night
for
already.
Days, man.
For days on end.
What day did you get here?
Monday.
You got here Monday, okay.
Like Monday afternoon.
Sure, okay.
And so, like, that was a long night, that first night, obviously, the night that you were there, too.
Yeah.
And then, so by that Tuesday, another long night by the time any of this was going down, and then it was just a sudden, abrupt, everybody look up, everybody on edge, like, how do you even react to something like that? How do you even process something like that happening and in such quick succession in just a matter of a couple minutes?
Yeah. Were you here the next night for the pretty big march that went on the next night?
Yes.
God, I was dead on that one, man. One of our viewers dropped off a bunch of body armor, but I was carrying my rucksack that had like all of my gear, all of my film gear, and I didn't know what I'd need. And then the guy came out, here's a 30-pound like plate carrier and a helmet, and I was just like, I had like 60 pounds of stuff, and we marched that night. Do you remember?
It was the longest,
and it was like 90 degrees
marches.
that night, dude. I was dead, man.
Yes. It was so hot that whole week.
Whole week. I don't think it's crazy to be here right now with how cold it is, with how hot it was when we were here together last. Total contrast.
That was one thing that I noted when I first got in. Like, even just being outside 30 seconds, all of a sudden your skin's cold, and it's like, oh man, because polar opposite.
Are you a Northwest native?
Midwest.
Midwest. Okay, so you're
so this area, like, I mean, not specifically Kenosha,
right,
but like Midwest for sure.
Right. I think it's that lake cold people don't expect. You don't get that Lake Michigan cold, man. It's like standing next to the ocean.
Anywhere near those lakes, they're too big. They create their own interesting weather patterns.
Lake Michigan's a trip. It's got its own tide. It's like I was here for my birthday last year, and I was getting ready to jump in, and people are coming out that were watching the feed like, don't do it. So it's dangerous, you'll die. And I was like, it's just a lake. They're like, yeah, no, it's not just a lake. It's Lake Michigan. You better respect that one. All right.
I suppose it depends on the shoreline, but like you can go into Lake Michigan.
Yeah, where I was at was on one of the bulkheads, like one of the rocky, like. Oh. And they were like, no, there's a super bad undercurrent there, and a lot of people don't come back, so it's sad.
That makes sense.
Yeah. What's
I
wild?
was
So
gonna say, I swear, like Michigan. It's a great place.
we ended up going in. We just went in a
Different.
properly designated area.
Gotcha.
It's wild. So if you guys remember, like all this over here, there's people hiding. Drew was over here. He had people that were there's people getting behind the front porches over here, behind whatever they could hide behind. And this is where the crowd was coming, right? The crowd was, I mean, as it worked out, the crowd made their way down here. Kyle was chasing Kyle, and I was probably right about here when he ran past me. I was standing in the middle of the road like an idiot, and started following. And that's when we ended up over here for, sorry to jump off the lake talk, but I know there's people that are probably pretty curious what we're at right now. So this is Sheridan Street. This is Sheridan Road. And this right up here is, I can just put it into contrast here. I can go back, camera, boom. There we go, that's better. There we go. That's why it was so dark. I had it on a weird wide angle thing. But yeah, this is, man. Now you were at, that's a whole nother story. I was going to talk about DC, but that's just like, that's a whole other world of things to get into, man.
World.
Oh, man.
World.
So
that was one thing I
world.
was just thinking of too, though, just in contrast, with this area compared to the vibes of like a DC protest or a New York protest, Portland. Like, it's just like totally different, atmosphere around. Like, it's just something different. Like, this is like Midwest USA. Like, this is really, it's not like huge, big metropolitan area. And so it seems so much more intimate in a way. Like, people going right, like, past all these people's houses. Like, it was very, very close, as opposed to just like marching past a bunch of like stores.
That's
and,
a great way of putting it.
High rise. Like there's no high rises.
No.
Like, you notice like all of Kenosha, the tallest building is
it's
a few stories.
Yeah, 3 or 4 stories, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think there's like a couple that are like 5 or more closer to the
But I mean, like,
lakeshore.
the
But,
actual,
like, the general downtown area and all
like
that.
Like, your 2-story homes, like you see over here.
And so, like, it's even though, like, 100,000, like, in a way sounds like a large number, it gives that more small town. And so...
and when you have 1,000 people walking past their house, that's a very palpable presence, you know? When it's a TGI Fridays, a Starbucks, and, like, a Best Buy, it's kind of like, all right, you know, businesses. And I think that's where... You made a great point. I think that's one thing. People keep saying, you know, it's people over property, you know, and I get that, but I think that where they miss it is like you're thinking along the lines of big cities where the destruction that happened in a big city, you're right, it happens more like in the cityscape, not so much in the suburban areas, which is what Kenosha really is like a suburban area that also has like a city hall and like a town hall area, like, but it's all houses. Everything is houses mingled. A big hospital isn't like in its own area in the city. It's right here in the middle of the neighborhood,
Everything that happened was just in front of people's houses, right here.
Which made it all the more terrifying for the locals here, folks that live here, because he hadn't seen anything like that, and then not knowing where it was going to go and what was going to happen. After nights of things burning, and then gunshots, at that point it was like, what do we do? You know, like, what do we do? Did you feel safe afterwards? What was your feeling after that night?
It was pretty tense, I would say, just because like at that point it had been so many nights or just these compact nights that had so much in them,
right?
Of just complete volatility, complete, like, who knows what's going to happen next, like from one minute to the next. So it was not particularly comfortable in the immediate aftermath.
To say the least, not comfortable.
What about you?
What's interesting is I never felt like I was in danger up until that moment, and then after the fact, I feel like, I don't know, it was different, man. That night was very different, you know? Like, there was a lot of guns. There was, like, do you remember how many guns were at this gas station up here?
A lot.
There was so many guns out there, and I think that it's crazy. Like, they showed something in the closing arguments today, where they were like, there wasn't just an AR-15 or two. There was a lot of AR-15s. But when we were here, like every single person in that gas station had a weapon of some type, most of them firearms. But then there was a lot of like what they call melee weapons, right? Like people that had like clubs and bats and bars, things like that. But and it wasn't just militia folks; it was like citizens, people, local folks that were geared up with, with gear. Like they had guns, but they were normal, like guy in jean shorts that was just like, oh man, like I live around the corner type thing, but had like a Mac 10 or whatever. I don't even know what guns are, but got pistols and things hanging out of their pants. It's like, dude, this is terrible. Okay, so the only other place that I've been around where there was that many guns in recent years was Louisville. Were you out there for that? For an INFAC for the Derby days?
No, I wasn't there for that one.
God, dude, that was crazy. That was like 1,000 people. Every one of them had a massive gun. Really? And I was just like, there's no way that this is going to happen. And you had like the 3%ers, you had all these patriots that came in. You had like the angry Viking who was like mobilizing people like, we're going to go, because INFAC was saying that the black militia, they were like the not fucking around coalition. They came in and they were like, if what they said was, and I'm not sure how it got taken out of context, what they said was, if we don't get justice for Breonna, we're going to come and burn this place down. And I don't know if they were saying that like figuratively or realistically. I don't know if it was a real threat, but they came back. And so all these militia groups came in. They came in. All the locals were like, we got to protect ours. So they all came out. Bro, that footage, we'll have to look at it sometime.
Oh my gosh,
it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
What was I doing that week? Like that I didn't hear about this.
It was all around. It was crazy. It was all around that same period of time. Like all of this was that month in the summer. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure people in the feed will know.
Talking about August of 2020?
It might have been August, September, right in there. Because I know that, like, you made it out to D.C., right? After this, did you end up getting all the?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Like for the
March on Washington.
That and then like the Rand Paul incident. And all that. Yep.
What did you think of the March on Washington? That was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
That was really like massive. And,
that was pretty profound.
I would say profound. Yeah. Great way to describe it.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s granddaughter, like her speech.
Okay, I wasn't there for that one.
Man, it got me in tears.
It was so packed in that it was hard to get up close to the front with it.
Yeah.
But
we pulled I pulled a little sneaky slide and I made my way under the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh wow.
And so
always finding your way
right
up where you need to be.
Right. Just getting that shot. But it was but then it was so hot. There were so many people there that like my phone died. It was like boiled, and then like there was all it did, man. There was times where I kept like an ice pack in my bag, and I'd wrap my second phone up in the ice pack with like a bandana.
Okay.
And just to keep it cool, and then I'd try to alternate, phones. And then I lost that phone, so I was like, oh no, all this footage that I just recorded to the phone because I couldn't go live due to like all the live view packs and and then you had 100,000 people plus. I don't even know how many people were there at that point, but
I think
there's a lot of people. Yeah, there had to be more than that. Yeah. I'm terrible with numbers though. Dude, I'm so bad with groups, right? Like I thought that was like 12 to 15 feet. And he's like 9. I wonder how tall I actually am, man. Like,
we don't know. It's hard to get a grasp on the whole crowd size when you're like right there standing on the ground.
Yeah.
You look around and try to do your best estimate, but it can be difficult, especially if it's anything more than like several thousand, and it's really hard to start picking between, is this 30,000, is it 40,000, like realistically how are we supposed to
after about 28 people I lose. 28 people is the most I can do. I can't get any more than that. That's the extent of my ability to go ahead and calculate a number. But it's cold out here, bro.
It's so cold. I don't know about you, but I would probably want to wrap up the outside walk somewhat soon.
Oh yeah, we could do. I plan on meeting up again tomorrow, so I just kind of want to walk down here and cool. If you're good, man. I mean, I don't want you to feel like you're obligated.
Oh no, it's okay. We're walking back this way anyway.
Cool,
Absolutely.
Hi.
I want to shake your hand.
Okay.
We watched you. My husband, he's on the phone too. We watched you during the last one.
You hear that, Brendan? You watched you during the last one?
Oh yeah, we had you guys right up on our big screen TV. Dear, say hi.
Hello, husband.
Hey, CJ.
How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Cold. It's very cold out here.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched you guys down by the building when you put your handprint up there. We watched everything.
I'm so glad
and
you did.
then you left. So I don't mean to be in your space.
I don't have space.
I just
You're
wanted
good.
to shake your hand. Nice
Pleasure
to
to meet you.
Good
Yeah.
to watch you. Who are you?
BG on the scene.
You're not the one that was in Louisville, were you?
Yeah, that was
Were you really?
Yeah.
When they were doing that,
Which one?
all them rednecks down there? When they did the march because they didn't want their town tore
We were
apart?
just talking.
Oh
about
no,
it.
that
For-
was
I
the
think-
one
Derby
that-
days.
Well, are you talking about the thing that you were?
Yeah.
'cause I
They
was not there
all
for it.
gathered in that park. You were in Washington.
No, I was in Louisville.
Were you right
When
away?
they had the-
Was he in Louisville right away?
Yeah, we've made it pretty quick. I think. Yeah.
Okay, because
We were talking about when all of the militia was there, and then they had
Yes.
the
Antifa
INFAC
came
showed up.
through.
I don't know about Antifa.
Who were all them guys in the?
In all black?
Yes.
That was the black militia. It was
Okay,
the
I
INFAC.
thought it was Antifa. That's the
No.
one with that DJ.
Yeah, Grandmaster Jay, I think is his
Yes,
name. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that was. We were talking about how scary it was with that and how many guns were there, and then we were talking about over here at the Ultimate how many
Yeah.
guns were out there that night of the shooting, and how wild that was to
Yeah.
see that many guns in a small place with such a small small area. So you're from here.
Yeah, I just live up the street and more towards the south there.
You mind being on camera?
I don't know.
You're good. You're not good.
We're kind of following the trial and everything.
Gotcha,
So,
okay.
yeah.
How do you feel now? How do you feel the town has the town changed? Has Kenosha changed
I don't
much
think
since?
so.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think we just kind of bounced back.
Okay.
I mean, we're not bad here,
Right,
and honestly, I don't think there's a lot of racism here.
right.
I mean,
It's
other
a pretty
people-
diverse crowd. Like the diversity here is pretty, I mean,
Yeah,
legit.
yeah.
you know?
Like I'm from here, but my husband is from the north,
Sure.
from up north, so he's only been here like 7 years. But I don't think Kenosha is like that. They're
Right.
pretty. Everybody kind of comes together.
That's what I've gathered from Kenosha. It's
Yeah.
a very inclusive, very welcoming place.
It is. It is. I
Yeah.
mean, they have the singing down by the or over by the marina over there in the
Yeah.
summertime,
Yeah.
and
It's a beautiful
just
place.
so many different things.
It's
yeah.
a gorgeous town you have here, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
The way that the town has, from what I've seen, come together in the wake of everything that happened has been pretty impressive.
I mean, yeah, they got rid of some buildings that have been there forever, but it's like I think we bounced back.
I think so.
I don't think that we're like stuck in that rut.
Right.
So hopefully we can kind of stay where we are
Sure.
and not let this trial affect other people.
Right.
I get it, but
I feel
not-
like it'll be okay. I think people are ready to be past and done with it. Ready to move on.
I hope so.
So are we, 'cause it's freezing. Get in here, give me a hug.
Yes. Oh,
It's great meeting you. Yeah. Take care of yourself,
Say
all
goodbye
right?
to the husband.
Bye, hubby.
Thank you guys
Yes.
for your time. Hope to
Absolutely.
see you again.
Likewise. Drive safe, okay?
Yes.
All righty. Oh, shoot. That was almost an ankle breaker right there. You think I'd learn how to walk at this point, man?
You would think we would have this terrain all memorized.
Yeah, right? Jeez,
Going
bro.
up and down so many times.
Walking with a cell phone or with a camera or whatever you've got, like you think you'd be pretty good at it. Man. So what was it like in the courtroom today?
Long.
Long.
Well,
so
I mean, like,
long. Yeah, we were out there with it. 9 hours you guys were in there, dude.
Well, and it's funny because like I've been out way longer than that, like in the field
Sure.
for things sometimes.
Sure.
But it's a little bit different when it's in a courtroom.
Man.
'Cause I'm just like taking notes and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
And just but yeah, I mean in general in there, like it was court proceedings.
Sure.
Like it's not like impacted necessarily by even like the outside world's,
Right.
how they feel about it or how much it's being talked about or whatnot. Because like once you're inside of there, it's like there's like less than 100 people in the room.
Right.
Or maybe roughly 100, something like that.
Or 5,000. If it's me. It's me guessing. 5,000,
Oh, yeah, if you're
35 to
trying
5,000.
Here we do go with the number estimates again.
Yeah,
Trying to get the crowd size. But no, but like, you know what I mean? Like, there might be millions of people that are watching it,
Sure.
but when you're inside,
Very
it's not like
intimate.
I'm sitting there inside and watching a live
Yeah.
stream. Like, the live stream was inside. So...
Was that
yeah.
your first day in there?
For that, yeah.
Oh, okay. It was a pretty intimate setting, man. Like, I was talking to some other folks that were in there, like Kriston from the Rundown Live, saying it's really interesting because what we're seeing on TV is different than what is seen there, because they're actually seeing like the way that the jury is responding to certain things, and so they're able to kind of gauge like how things are actually going, and so it's interesting to hear that the way that we're seeing it on the outside is just how we're viewing it, right? But the reality of it is all of that is being pandered to that jury. Like, that's where all of like I don't want to say court theatrics, but all of the focus is on giving them like the best picture, right? And so for us watching, it's kind of like we're like flies on the wall, but
I see what you're saying.
yeah, but it's much more intimate when you're in there, I'm sure, for you, because you're watching how the jury is being talked directly to in these articles that we don't get to see on TV. Had you seen a lot? I mean, your footage was pretty. You were right up in there. You know what I mean? And you were over here. I was back here on the backside. But had you watched a lot? Had you watched a lot of the footage of the shooting since the shooting?
I mean, it came up quite a few times, so there were definitely times where it was watched back, but I didn't necessarily make it a point to try to dig, watch it over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? Because it'd be a little rough, I would think. I don't know about you.
I didn't watch really any of it. Mostly because I'm bad with technology. I don't know how to actually pull the video. No, I just really though I have talked it on my feed quite a bit. Like we'll keep moving towards wherever you gotta go, because I know it's freezing. I just wasn't ready for it, man. I just didn't think that I'd be prepared for. I don't know. Looking at like after we've gone through all this now, like this case has been good for me personally. I mean, speaking from me, it's been really cathartic to be able to kind of go through it all, watch it all, and experience it all through like that detached focal point where it's like it's a screen that I'm watching now and not like the reality of what happened while we were here, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like disassociation, or I don't know if there's a term for it properly, but that sounds right. I'm gonna go with that. Disassociation.
I think that sounds,
it sounds right.
Just about.
How's it going? Good. How are you? Good. How are you, man?
James Richardson.
James, pleasure to meet you.
How you doing?
CJ, this is Brendan.
How you doing, Brendan?
It's cold out here, James.
Yes, it is.
How is it here?
What's that?
How is it here?
It's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's quiet.
Okay.
Quiet, yeah. I know I drove through the other day and everything was unboarded and nothing's boarded up right now. Not really.
Right. Are most of the boards you see up are ones that are lingering from last year.
The ones that are up now, yes.
Sorry.
You know, and halfway through the summer, most of the area was still boarded up.
Yeah. How does it feel in town right now, being a local? Like,
It seems okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one town away.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're all really connected. Is that still Kenosha County then? Is that?
What's that?
Like where you live, it's still like.
No, I'm actually right across the border.
Okay.
Yeah, right on the Illinois line there.
Okay.
But no, I watched everything go down last year. I wasn't here, and I didn't want to be here.
Right.
I drove through 6 a.m. What is it? The 6 a.m. the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
When that was still smoldering, and I was just devastated.
Yeah.
You know, and then to see everything that was destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
you grew up out here?
yeah, I grew up all in this area. This is,
Yeah.
what we had to use for our playground, more or less, when we were younger.
Yeah.
Hanging out. But no, it was just devastating to watch everything that night,
Yeah, absolutely.
to see everything go down.
Absolutely.
And then I'm kind of surprised that they're not taking more precaution right now.
I mean, do you feel? And let me try something. Do you feel like it's going to be something that they got to worry about? Like,
Not as bad as it was, no. Some stuff, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be bad.
right.
I think they've got a little bit better control this year, or this time.
Sure.
And with them pushing everything later in the season, the weather will be a factor too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for this cold,
Exactly.
you better buckle up, because
I mean, if you're not used to it, you're not used to it at all.
man, I can't feel my feet, my hands, my nose, like my ears. I'm like, man, and I'm rocking alpaca. I thought it was gonna keep me safe, Brandon. It's not.
Right.
I'm still freezing out here. I heard that they had originally talked about doing the case in Fargo. Like they were going to move it to Fargo in December or something.
I didn't know anything
just to
about
make
that.
sure that it was the coldest, most remote place possible. Or maybe that was the Chauvin trial. But either way, I know they had someone who was maybe jokingly, but I was like, it's not a bad idea. Because I doubt that I would go for that, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure at this juncture that I'm not built for the cold, bro. Like, I'm barely making it.
But are you going up to Waukegan in the near future? You were talking about it.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I've got a story that I'm going to be covering up there, but not right now. It depends on how the week goes, how long I'm going to be able to stick around. I got some stuff that I'm doing back home with some of the homeless shelters, getting ready for Thanksgiving. So, planning, man, just trying to figure it out, get around. So, a lot of one-way tickets, you know, a lot of one-way tickets.
What is that, the Stinnett case you're looking into?
Up here?
Up in Waukegan?
No, actually, I was here when that happened, though.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because that happened like 2 blocks from my storefront.
I did it. That was wild because the car was spinning. They shot into the car, and the young man that was killed was shot in the back through a moving vehicle. It was a really. And then they had, if I'm remembering the case right, and it's been over a year now.
Yeah.
But it was, and then they had, anyway, we can get into that later. It's a whole nother, there's a lot of them out here. There's a lot of cases.
Yes.
You got the Ahmaud Arbery case going on in Georgia, which I think, honestly, and I don't know, maybe tell me your thoughts on this. I really feel like this case might actually affect the Ahmaud Arbery case because one of the things that someone got a hold of me, one of these illegal analysts, I don't know what his professional title would be, was talking about that term lunge. They keep using that here. And it might end up being almost like a precedent-setting situation that they can take into the case down there, as to say that Rosenbaum, they were saying lunge for the gun. They were saying when they kept going with that term lunge, and if you look it up, it's basically an aggressive move, a combative move, if you will. And that came up down in the Ahmaud Arbery case too, was that he was lunging for this gun.
Okay.
And so there's these weird overlaps that are coming up. And so for people right now, I think that it'll be interesting down the line, because I've been saying on the stream, Rittenhouse case is going to come up in case law moving forward. What happens in this case, which who knows what it'll be, but I think, it's no matter what, it's gonna change some things, But yeah, you want to walk this way with us? Yeah, I know that he's just freezing up over here. It's so cold, man.
I'm fine with it, but
it's freezing.
awesome.
You guys remember over here? This is the Mangia's, the restaurant, the Italian restaurant that burned down. It's still boarded up, and not back to any. But it wasn't. I don't know if it was actually was that actually being used?
No,
it was.
No, that's been closed for a while now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know this karate dojo across the street here, though. There's a woman out in front of that was fighting with the crowd and arguing with them to stop them from destroying it, because they're saying it's a place for the community and children.
And they pretty much respected her too.
They did. They
really did.
They just moved next door and burnt the hell out of this one. And this is Ruther's school here, guys. This is where a lot of the windows and a lot of that spray paint that you saw that was being removed, and the pictures that kept coming up in court where they were out removing graffiti. It's all in this building here. Well, one of the buildings, but this is the school. And remember, that was wild. Just watch people go down and just smashing out windows on this as well. Man, you're over the line. Did you think things were going to make it as far as where you live?
We did have some stuff come walking through a little bit, but not much. We had situations in Waukegan with riots and looting.
Okay.
Destruction of the businesses in the one area. I don't remember if it was due to this or if it was because of the other case that was going on.
Sure.
But we've had a lot of problems in general between Kenosha, Zion, North Chicago, Waukegan. My personal feelings is because we're a midway point between Milwaukee and Chicago, we get a lot of those out-of-towners coming through, and this is kind of the midpoint where they meet up and do whatever they're doing.
Right.
And it's causing a lot of havoc in this town.
Sure.
My town.
Your town, yeah.
Yeah. So
you guys are right in the middle of this hub, though. You've got, a lot of people don't appreciate that Kenosha itself might be a small town. Like Brandon was saying,
Yeah.
like is 100,000 in scope might sound like a big number, but in comparison to a lot of metropolis areas, like Brandon was saying, 100,000 is not that many people. Here, I'm just gonna get it on you guys because people see my face enough. But you've got Chicago and Milwaukee, which are
I believe it's about 10 million between the two communities.
between Chicago and Milwaukee.
I believe it's about 10 million people.
Between like so the
Milwaukee
span
and Chicago,
between
yeah.
both of those.
Yes.
But the majority of that, population-wise, is centrally located, Chicago and Milwaukee, where you got these little places in between that are like an hour, 45 minutes, 50 minutes from either, equidistance basically from either, of 100,000 people, where since gangland times, you guys like, there's Al Capone's old hideout here, so it's been an overflow for like that gang mentality from the early Prohibition days, and then you move that past into modern day street gangs. That I heard that this was like an area that had a lot of recruiting. There's
Sheridan Road was his route, Al Capone's route from Chicago's North Shore to the Wisconsin area.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, my storefront is actually an old building that supposedly Capone was a meetup place for.
Okay.
But no, this was a main route between the two Milwaukee and Chicago for Capone's route back in the day.
Right. This road here, and the road we're talking about, guys, this is the arterial feed for all of the things that happened here. So this is Sheridan Road right here, yeah?
Yeah.
You got the post office across the street here. This is Civic Park right here. So this is Civic Center Park, where it all started. Not all started. It was behind this park where it started at the police station. But this is the courthouse right here where they're trying the case with Rittenhouse. At the Paleontology Museum over here where they killed that sad, unsuspecting dinosaur. Didn't deserve that. Shouldn't have happened. And then the fence that was built. And you guys have seen an extensive amount of footage of all of this as it was happening here. But everyone got pushed from here in this area from there all the way down there. And it didn't take long before they made it out of the park to the first fire, and then the second and the third and the fifth and the 10th and then the 20th, and all the fires that happened down here and the destruction that came by. But which is sad, because if the thought process would have been probably ran over a little bit better, it would have all stayed here. Like, it could have stayed here, and it would have been better if people would have been able to express their anger and rage right here, where they had tanks and big iron fences and steel fences, whatever, and big buildings, and I'm being juvenile, I guess, in my description, but really that's what it was, is people with umbrellas against Bearcats and MRAPs and all these things here. And then when it made it to the streets, there was nothing to stop the destruction from happening down here, really. Otherwise, they'd have had to move out and spread into the streets along with all these people that were out destroying things. And there's just too much to try to control. You want to keep walking this way? Because I know Brendan here, he said, I'm done. And I've just only got a couple % of my battery in here. So.
Okay, yeah. Which, are you going just further down this way?
Yeah, I was just going to walk up to the court here and call it good.
Okay.
I'll turn off. Yeah, so Civic Center Park right here. We'll walk right up to this corner, then cut down, and then we'll wrap.
Look at all the fall leaves here now. It's
beautiful here, man.
Totally different.
So different, man. This was all tear gas and diesel fuel burning last time we were down here.
Yeah.
Last time I was here. I know that you got a chance to kind of see it in the... Oh, they got a new dinosaur. Look at that. Was that one always there? We'll come down in the daytime too, guys, and we'll do a walkthrough so everyone can see it. Yeah. I remember climbing up on top of this box right here and getting stuck because there's like a mob of people that were just... I almost had to crowd surf off because they started the police line. Remember, they were pushing through the park this way.
Yes.
Then I got stuck up here, and the crowd was here, and the police were there, and they were just shooting pepper balls at me. And I was like, I can't get down, bro. I'm stuck. Please stop shooting me. You don't got to. It's not acceptable. You don't have to. It's proper English for us there. But this is where they lit those garbage trucks on fire, right here in the middle. And we have plenty of footage. That was crazy, man. Like when that first, watching people dump gasoline into these these garbage trucks and watch them just go up. And then the courthouse right here, which is where it's all happening right now, inside these these hollowed walls here. And yeah, you got the executive building over here, the admin building. I was all smashed up. I'll show you guys the road here, and then we can wrap up over here. But you guys can still see, like we showed in the car lot, all the burnt remains, like where the asphalt melted from the from the garbage trucks that were on fire out here. And you guys, and I'm sure I'll pop the footage up at some point, but this is where it was, this spot right here on top of this burnt down garbage truck that I was at for quite a while during the standoff here. They had the fence that was built here, the National Guard on one side, protesters on the other. They had the MRAPs and the Bearcats in this intersection right here. Hey, and you're good. And then this is where it was back and forth. One of the worst ones, though, I don't know if you saw this, was with a guy that was right up on the fence, and they just came up and hosed him, pepper sprayed him down. Yeah. And the poor guy is staggering out here, and then on the bear, they're like, "Sir, leave. You're obviously intoxicated because of the way you're staggering." And I was like, dude, you just blinded the guy with like a gallon of pepper spray. This poor dude is just...
He did take a beating that night.
Yeah, there was...
He did take a beating.
Man, there was some people that were getting just lit up. I remember like the right behind me, the Bearcat was right here, and they were shooting over my head. Remember there was do and hitting people on the fence line here, and it was wild. But
you were saying they were just buzzing right by your ear.
Dude, it was so terrifying. I got lit, man. I got clipped in the butt cheeks a handful of times. So I was laying down, and they would run a little low, and it's just one of those like, ooh, just pucker up and take it. Just pucker up and take it. There's nothing else you can do in those moments. But then, yeah, and we'll do a walkthrough here tomorrow. We got a little more light. You guys can see what's going on. And, I'm sure that there's probably going to be a lot more people out here tomorrow because tomorrow's a big verdict. But anyway, I'm going to wrap for tonight. Again, Brendan, BJ on the scene, you guys. Go check him out. You can on Facebook, YouTube. Everywhere.
BG on the scene.
BG on the scene, you guys.
Yeah.
Been around.
That was you. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce. Yeah, my fault.
You just introduced him as Brendan.
Yeah. So Brendan, BG on the scene. So I'm sure, you've seen it. This guy's been all over the country as well. Been doing an incredible job of. You get into some places, man. Like, it's impressive. Like, and everyone has that that shot envy, where it's like, that was a good angle. But like, you get to places, and I'm like, man, my guy he's really in there. So if you guys want to see some incredible footage, definitely go over to BG on the scene. You've seen a lot of it.
For that.
Absolutely. You've seen a lot of it in the court case over the course of the last 2 weeks. It's been broadcast. You'll know BG on the scene because it's got the little arch. BG on the scene. You'll see it in the corner there.
Sure.
Your name again was James. That's right. James, local resident here. Appreciate you taking the time to walk with us, guys. I'm going to wrap it and do what I can to get the feeling back in my hands and feet. But I might go back on a little later and from the comfort of a warm anything. And we'll talk some more, okay? I love you guys. Be good. Be good to each other.